It was in Kilkenny, but like it was on the border of Tip, Waterford, and Kilkenny. So like it was fuck all to do there. It was nice to look at, like, but it was a shithole to live in because there was no work around. There was no fucking. The buses were terrible, like into the city. Secondary school in Waterford. I moved back to school in Tipperary. I finished my school years out there, so it was like Waterford, Tip, and Kilkenny and me. Like I'm kind of like a mixture of them all, to be honest. I fucked off to London and ended up in London for a couple of years. Then when I was in London, like on my 8 or 9 month over there, I started getting sick. When I didn't get sick of London, I just started missing home real bad. So I came home and fucking. When I came home, then after like 2 weeks of being at home, I got sick of being at home and I ended up moving away again. I went to Denmark and I was living in Denmark for 4 months then in this tiny little fucking city up the north of Denmark, and it was horrendous. It was like their hours are all different and shit. And we were working on Irish hours on an Irish construction site in Denmark, if that makes sense. So like the site would close at 6 and you go home for 6, but all the shops would be shut. And after that, it's just the pubs that are open. So I ended up becoming a big fucking alcoholic over there by drinking the whole time because it was all there was to do. My mother was after moving up to Dublin for her boyfriend, and that meant obviously then that my hometown I couldn't go back to it because well there's no work down there and I had nowhere to go down there, so I had no choice but to come up here. It was like a 40-minute walk to the nearest bus stop and walk through country roads, like there was not only fields and cows surrounding us. And I went from there then to jumping into a big city, so it's been a bit fucking mad. Last few years of my life have been a bit nuts. Yeah, I don't really fucking. I miss some parts of like my hometown, but not loads of parts of them. Not loads of parts of them. That sounds ridiculous, but you know what I mean. Like I miss like the quietness, the countryside, and the simplicity of living there. But I don't like how inconvenient it was and how the way it was, and the lack of jobs and shit like that, and the lack of like you're never gonna progress much. If I was to live there all my life would be a load of bollocks because there's no chance of like your life improving or you being successful or shit like that because you're stuck in such a small place with nothing around you. And I've made some great friends up here, probably some of my best friends ever. And yeah, and not feel so alone and shit like that, you know. It's definitely like moving to a city is the most lonely feeling on the world.